Rob?
Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at the very large Eaglemoss DC chess collection Justice League piece number 46. This is Darkseid. And of course Darkseid is going to be a huge piece, and I'll bring up Aquaman to kind of show you, since Darkseid is a rook, Aquaman is a rook, you can kind of see in size to Aquaman how big of a piece this is. This was a piece that I knew I was definitely getting once I walked into the comic book store and I walked around the display case that they had. Was really hoping Darkseid was going to be there. Darkseid and Superman, and they had a lot of them there, even the Bat family members and Lex Luthor. So it was a real toss-up at first what I was picking up. Other than Darkseid, I thought if they have Darkseid, I definitely want to get him. And he is just a great looking figure. I cannot wait to get him out and place him on the board. So again, I haven't been showing all the boxes with a lot of them. Here is the Darkseid box. Again, it's the same as every other box, just tinted in the yellow. Darkseid does not have the floor grain that Aquaman and Wonder Woman had in theirs. I would have thought he would, so I'm probably pointing out something that's probably very irrelevant. So let's just not waste any more time. Let's get Darkseid out and we'll get a closer look at him. And I can already tell he's beautifully sculpted. I'm just really hoping, crossing the fingers, that all of his paint is painted very, very well. We'll be right back in just a moment, guys. Wow, this piece does not disappoint in the slightest. Man, this might be my favorite piece. I was saying, if you go back to the Man-Bat piece, that he was sculpted very well. There was a lot of detail in him. And just because he was such a bigger piece, they had more to work with as far as area to do sculpting and painting. And boy, Darkseid, I am so glad I picked this up. He's going to look massive on the board. Just to give you a size in them, the bases on these two figurines are the same, both being rooks, but you could just see that Darkseid is literally head and shoulders taller than Aquaman. So that gives you a little bit of range, and I guess we'll bring up Wonder Woman too. You know, Wonder Woman's a little bit taller because of her base being taller, but she is still shorter than Aquaman or Darkseid. So this is going to be great. 3 great figurines to be able to have on my board. So let's get a closer look at Darkseid here. I probably won't have to zoom in as far, but just the detailing on Darkseid. Hopefully you can make out his red eyes in there. Just done so well. All the cracking in on the shoulder pads and his, you know, Omega symbol there. Oh, there's the Omega symbol. I love the look of Darkseid with his arms folded. If you've seen Justice League War, this reminds me of the pose that he was almost in, as he was just kind of gliding across the water and everything like that in the movie. So that was done very well, but just the detail that is in this. I'm assuming, Stu, if you're watching this, that you have Darkseid. If you haven't, you've got to pick this one up. He's going to look great next to your Superman figure and Supergirl, for that matter. But he is painted, I would say, almost flawlessly. I've been looking and looking for an error somewhere. And I love how his hands are folded. But again, this piece is much larger than the other ones, so there's more canvas area, if you will, to be able to paint. They got the gold up underneath his neck. So a good attention to detail in all these figures. Some are a little bit harder to paint than the others, but I think it's just with the size and maybe the person that's painting it. So yeah, I'm not noticing any flaws in this at all. Just a really, really well sculpted and crafted piece. So here's the Darkseid information, BFL 5427. So very, very cool. Let's back this out. Cannot wait to put him on the board downstairs. And again, much like Aquaman, he's facing sideways, which I think is really kind of cool and ominous looking. These books, again, I say every time, are very cool. Now, there is New 52 stuff with Darkseid, but he was only in kind of one issue of the New 52. So there is a lot of older history with Darkseid, which I am really thankful for, because I don't know a whole lot about Darkseid. Aside from the Superpowers cartoon show, where Darkseid was kind of talking like this, that he just, being one of the new gods that Kirby created, there's just so much I don't know about the Darkseid character. And I always thought Darkseid had a thing for Wonder Woman, that he wanted to make Wonder Woman his queen, which is kind of fitting that I have Darkseid there. Kind of surprised that Darkseid is not the king of the board, but it kind of makes sense that Lex Luthor is, so it could have gone either way with Eaglemoss. I'm happy with both. The Rock of Ages storyline is a really good Grant Morrison story. I've heard Kevin Smith on Fat Man on Batman kind of read a couple of these issues, so this is one I really definitely want to pick up. So it's a really good Batman Justice League story, and a good Darkseid Justice League story as well. So where Darkseid is just killing everyone. There's slicing the Joker right in half. This is during the time of the Superman Red and Blue line that DC was doing. So just very, very well. I can't say enough good things about this piece. It's really good. Speaking of the piece, this is great. I would love a t-shirt with this Darkseid on it. So very cool. Let's take a look at the read-up here, if I can get it in frame. Maybe. It says, stern and implacable Darkseid stands like a fortress in the corner of the board, waiting for the right moment to unleash his power, which kind of makes sense. Darkseid's all about waiting for that precise moment to strike. While Darkseid often allows others to attack on his behalf, when he finally makes his move, it always brings devastation to his foes, whether they are earthbound or new gods. So it makes sense that he is the Black Rook. So again, more information on Darkseid, and Darkseid is responsible for zapping Batman back in time with the Omega Beams and killing Batman. So just done very, very well. The next piece in the series after Darkseid would be issue 47, would be Martian Manhunter, and he is a White Knight. Now, I do have one Knight position left open, and that is Batgirl would be on the Bat side, and you have Red Robin on the Bat side. So I already have the Red Robin piece, and I saw Martian Manhunter there. I still may go with Batgirl, since I'm leaning heavily more towards the Bat family, but I may pick up an extra piece and may be able to interchange some of these out. But right now, I think I'm going to go with the Batgirl piece. So like we've done for the other two, we will go downstairs and we will place the very large Darkseid on the board. And this is the first villain that I've had in a while. So I'll have to rotate my board so we can see the other villains and just how massive Darkseid is on the board. We will be right back in just a moment. Stay tuned. All right, here we are back downstairs, and I've flipped the board around, and it's a different point of view looking at the villains this time. And we're going to put the big, massive Darkseid chest figure on there. He could easily be the king. I mean, Lex Luthor is who I'm planning on having as the king, so, you know, he'd be really massive as the king. But as he is a rook, let's put his piece together straight. There he is, and I have two rooks on the board now for the villain side of the board, and Man-Bat just looks really small next to Darkseid, even though that Man-Bat is a really big piece. So again, this is going to be really fun. Hopefully you guys are liking these chess piece reviews, and they're kind of slow coming in as I have a little bit of extra money, and as I'm able to kind of come across some of these villains and even hero pieces. I end up picking them up. Now, I don't think I'm going to be replacing anybody on this board as far as the villain side. I think I have the villains that I want. I kind of thought about getting the other Jason Todd Red Hood, which isn't an actual chest piece, but it's one of the lead pieces that they were doing for a while. The basics are fairly similar, the same. I'll probably end up still keeping this Red Hood, as it were. But I think I want to have Lex Luthor as the king. Harley Quinn will probably be the queen, which will look kind of weird standing next to Lex. But I'll have the Joker, probably knight. I'll probably eventually get the Joker king as well, so that way I could kind of switch and intermix, kind of like I'm going to do with Superman and Batman, as it were. So this is going to wrap it up here. Today we've been taking a look at Darkseid, the Eaglemoss DC chess collection. He is the Dark Rook, or the villain Rook of the board. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues, signing off saying we will see you guys next time.